Welcome to ulnar nerve made ultra easy tutorial. In this video, we will be looking at the motor and sensory supply of the ulnar nerve. After arising from the medial cord of the brachial plexus, the ulnar nerve continues into the arm and then enters the posterior compartment of the arm, and it moves down below the elbow by going behind the medial epicondyle of the humerus. It then continues into the forearm. As you can see, there are no branches in the arm. Entering the forearm, the muscle supplied by the ulnar nerve will be the flexor carpi ulnaris, followed by the flexor digitorum profundus. It then gives two sensory branches, the dorsal cutaneous and the palmar cutaneous. Continues above the flexor retinaculum into the wrist to supply the hypothenar muscles, the intrinsic muscles, and ends as a superficial sensory branch. The flexor carpi ulnaris is the first muscle to be supplied by the ulnar nerve. As you can see, the muscle is in the anterior compartment of the forearm and it lies in the second layer. This flexor carpi ulnaris helps us to flex the wrist in an ulnar manner. Next muscle is flexor digitorum profundus. Only the medial two flexor digitorum profundus tendons are supplied by the ulnar nerve. The other two are supplied by the median nerve. These tendons attach to the base of the distal phalanx, allowing flexion of the distal interphalangeal joints. The lumbricals attach from the tendons, and these lumbricals help in flexion of metacarpal phalangeal joints and extension of the interphalangeal joints. Same thing, medial two supplied by the ulnar nerve, lateral two supplied by the median nerve. Several hypothenar muscles are supplied. The hypothenar muscle in green here will be the flexor digiti minimi brevis. This flexor digiti minimi brevis helps us in flexing the little finger. Two other muscles of the hypothenar will be the abductor digiti minimi in red, and the green will be the opponens digiti minimi. Opponens digiti minimi helps the opposition movement with the thumb. Abductor digiti minimi pulls the little finger away from the axial line. The muscle in yellow will be the adductor pollicis. It has a transverse and an oblique head. These muscles help to pull the thumb towards the mid-axial line. The next intrinsic muscle will be the palmar interossi. As you can see, there are only three palmar interossi. These palmar interossi pulls the fingers together, making them closer to the mid-axial line, which is the middle finger. The thumb has its own adductor pollicis to pull it closer, hence it does not need a palmar interossi. This is the action of the palmar interossi. Adduction. Adduction. The thumb has its adductor pollicis, so adduction. The other muscle will be the dorsal interossi. This dorsal interossi helps to do abduction movement, pulling all the fingers away from the mid-axial line. The little finger has its own abductor digiti minimi and the thumb has its own abductor pollicis. Hence, there will only be four dorsal interossi. The second and third will be to hold the middle finger in position. The movement of the dorsal interossi is for abduction, to pull the fingers away from the mid-axial line. The thumb has its own abductor pollicis and the little finger has its own abductor digiti minimi. So, dorsal interossi, abduction. After supplying the muscles, the ulnar nerve ends off as a superficial terminal sensory branches supplying the medial 1.5 digits. So this is the palmar picture on the left, and as you can see, the purple side is supplied by the ulnar nerve. The medial 1.5 digit of the palmar surface and the fingers. On the dorsal side, supplied by the dorsal cutaneous nerve, as depicted in purple as well, the ulnar nerve supplies the dorsal surface of the medial 1.5 digits. We have now come to the end of this video. There are several other videos and quizzes below this video for you to look at and try. Goodbye.